The walls are closing in on Tyrone Dobbs. Not because the police have proof. Not because anyone caught him. But because one dangerous man has started asking the right questions. And in Weatherfield, sometimes suspicion is more deadly than evidence itself. Welcome back to Coronation Street Update. And tonight, we need to talk about the chilling new power game unfolding on the cobbles. Because Carl Webster has chosen his next target. And Tyrone may be completely unprepared for what's coming next. This is no longer just about Theo Silverton's murder. This is about fear, control, and the terrifying cost of keeping secrets buried. Because Carl Webster isn't interested in justice. He's interested in leverage. And that changes everything. The atmosphere around Tyrone has shifted dramatically in recent weeks. Viewers have noticed it. The residents have noticed it. Even Tyrone himself seems trapped inside a pressure cooker of anxiety, hesitation, and emotional exhaustion. But then everything changes. One quiet drink at the pub suddenly becomes something much darker. Carl approaches Tyrone calmly. Almost casually. But beneath the surface there's menace in every word. He tells Tyrone he can see fear in his eyes. And honestly, that moment says everything. Because Carl isn't just accusing him of hiding something. He's studying him. Testing him. Trying to break him psychologically before he even knows what game he's playing. And what makes this even more unsettling is Carl's history. This is a man who already destroyed trust once before after Tyrone discovered his role in the devastating hit-and-run incident last year. Their hatred didn't disappear. It evolved. Now the balance of power is changing again. Carl senses weakness. And predators always move when they smell weakness. But the real mystery here isn't Carl. It's Tyrone. Because for the first time in a long time, Tyrone Dobbs feels genuinely unpredictable. This is a man usually driven by loyalty, instinct, and emotion. Yet suddenly he's withholding information. Acting nervously. Avoiding direct answers. And most disturbingly of all, he lied. When DS Lisa Connorswain questioned him about Summer Spellman's movements on the night Theo died, Tyrone denied seeing anything. But Summer insists he saw her leaving. Not only that, she claims Tyrone also saw Theo alive in the upstairs window afterward. That detail is absolutely explosive. Because if Summer is telling the truth, then Tyrone's lie completely changes the timeline surrounding Theo's death. And that's when things take a darker turn. Why would Tyrone lie? Is he protecting himself? Protecting Summer? Or protecting someone else entirely? That question could change the entire investigation. And viewers are already spiraling with theories. Some believe Tyrone knows the real killer. Others think he accidentally witnessed something terrifying and panicked. But there's another possibility that feels even more emotionally charged. What if Tyrone isn't hiding guilt? What if he's hiding fear? Because Carl Webster has become a deeply manipulative presence on the street. He knows how to pressure people, intimidate people, corner people emotionally until they crack. And Tyrone has always been vulnerable to emotional pressure. Especially when family, loyalty, and survival collide. But Carl's behavior next week feels different. Colder. More calculated. He doesn't confront Tyrone publicly. He doesn't threaten violence. Instead he plants paranoia. A psychological trap. By telling Tyrone that he knows he's hiding something, Carl creates a devastating chain reaction. Now Tyrone will start second-guessing every interaction. Every question. Every glance. That's how manipulation works. Not through force. Through fear. And what happens next could push Tyrone into making catastrophic mistakes. Because secrets in Coronation Street rarely stay buried forever. Especially when somebody like Carl Webster starts digging. But that may not be the whole truth. There's also the possibility Carl is bluffing completely. Maybe Tyrone has no dark secret at all. Maybe Carl simply wants control. Maybe he's exploiting the chaos surrounding Theo's murder to destabilize people and strengthen his own position. And honestly, that might be even more dangerous. Because false suspicion can destroy lives just as effectively as truth. Meanwhile, the Theo Silverton murder case continues poisoning the entire street. Every resident seems emotionally exhausted. Everyone is watching everyone. Friendships are becoming strained. Loyalties are shifting. And under all that pressure, even good people start making terrible decisions. Especially people already carrying emotional scars. Tyrone's silence now feels symbolic of something much bigger happening inside Weatherfield. Nobody feels safe anymore. Nobody trusts appearances anymore. And Carl Webster is thriving in that atmosphere. That's what makes him so terrifying. Not because he's physically dangerous, but because he understands emotional weakness better than almost anyone else on the cobbles. He knows exactly where to apply pressure. Exactly when to provoke. Exactly how to make somebody unravel without lifting a finger. And if Tyrone truly is hiding something, Carl may eventually force it into the open. What happens next is devastating. Because if Tyrone's lie is exposed publicly, the consequences could spread far beyond him. Summer's credibility could collapse. The murder timeline could be rewritten. Police attention could shift dramatically. And Carl himself could gain dangerous influence over the people around him. But here's the truly heartbreaking part. Tyrone may already realize he's trapped. Because once somebody like Carl starts circling you, every decision becomes dangerous. Tell the truth? You risk destroying lives. Stay silent? You risk becoming part of the lie. And that is the emotional nightmare now consuming Tyrone Dobbs. As Coronation Street heads into another explosive week, one thing feels certain. This story is no longer just about murder. It's about power, psychological warfare, and the terrifying consequences of one hidden truth. But who is really manipulating events behind the scenes? What exactly did Tyrone see that night? Is Carl genuinely suspicious, or strategically exploiting fear for his own gain? And could Tyrone's secret ultimately expose the real killer? We may be heading toward one of the most emotionally explosive revelations this storyline has delivered yet. And if Carl pushes too far, the fallout could destroy multiple lives at once. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Coronation Street update. Because on this street, secrets never stay buried for long.